Just a little bit of credit before I start the video, guys. You know, I don't want to be that skinny guy that tries to give you advice when I don't have the credit to show. I have pretty decent biceps, I would say so. I used to have skinny arms and now I have big arms, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how I did it and how you're gonna do it, but even quicker than I did. Now this video is gonna be mainly focused on biceps. I will touch up in future videos how to grow the other parts of your arms, but I wanna do it bit by bit. So this video, we're gonna be focusing on your biceps. Now I know that we all want big biceps. You fill up your t-shirt when you're wearing like a black tee and you know you have big biceps, it just looks good. Girls are turning your way when you enter a room. Who doesn't want big biceps? Let me tell you exactly how you are going to get the big biceps. So firstly, your split could be greatly affecting how much you're actually able to grow your arms and grow your biceps. So if you truly want to start growing some juicy, voluptuous biceps, you need to implement an arm day if you haven't done so already. An arm day is simply when you train your shoulders, your triceps, and your biceps, and sometimes people would want to train their forearms as well. I don't train forearms. I'll touch on that later. The reason why you do need to implement an arm day is because you can actually put your 100% focus on these muscles instead of leaving them as a secondary muscle to train after every single session. When you do a chest session, you're always leaving the triceps to last. You can't put your 100% effort into that. When you're doing a pull session, you know, you're leaving your biceps to last. You can't put your effort into that. So you need to implement an arm day so that you can put in the effort on these muscle groups. Most of the time they're slacking due to not being targeted enough. For the first year of my own training, I was on a push-pull leg split, which is the split that the majority of people that go gym are on. And my arms were a weak point for me and I didn't know why until I switched to the PPL X Arnold split, which means I had an arm day every week now. And as soon as I switched to that split, I kid you not, within about 3 months, I saw so much growth on my arms. No joke, my arms actually blew up. I was seeing veins that I've never seen before. I was seeing muscle parts on my biceps that I've never seen before. It was one of the best decisions that I made, and I believe you should do so too. So I'm gonna say it one more time. If you don't have a separate arm day in your weekly split, implement that arm day starting from as soon as you can. Now to grow your biceps, you need to train all parts of the bicep. You can't miss out any parts, which there is 3 parts to your bicep. There's the long head, the short head, and the brachialis. And it depends on the way that you position your arms when you're doing an exercise that targets these certain muscle groups. And you are definitely gonna want to stay to the end of this video, otherwise you're gonna look like this guy that missed out on the diamonds just before he reached it. We're saving the best for last, and that's gonna be the brachialis. It's gonna give you the thickness in your arm that you just dream of having. All right, starting off with the long head. My favorite exercise to do for the long head is the straight bar cable curl. And you should be doing it too if you're not already. When you do this exercise compared to performing it with dumbbells, you have tension all the way through the movement. And you're gonna wanna do this for 3 sets for 10 to 12 reps. It's an absolutely go-to exercise. I recommend it to anyone that's trying to grow their biceps. Another exercise that you can do for the long head is an incline seated bicep curl. I'm not gonna go too deep into this one because it's pretty much the same explanation as the one before. This exercise is really gonna work on giving you that peak in your bicep. Moving on now to the short head of the bicep. The exercise that I would usually go with is the preacher curl. Preferably, I would wanna go with a plate loaded preacher curl rather than a machine preacher curl. I just feel like the machine preacher curl isn't great. There's not really that much range of motion. It just doesn't feel great at all for me. So to make sure that at the top of every rep, you're getting a nice squeeze right at the top and you're performing it with full range of motion. Don't short yourself of any range of motion. Make sure you're going all the way down. Now, yes, I know you've seen that video of that guy that tore his biceps or whatever performing the preacher curl, but the chance that this happens to you is very, very unlikely as long as you perform the exercise well and you don't ego lift. The chances that this happens to you is very, very low as long as you're working in a higher rep range and you're performing this exercise very well with good form and you're not ego lifting. Use a weight that you know that your body can actually handle. There's no need to show off at all. And for this, we're gonna be doing similar rep ranges. We're doing 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. And I will explain why we're doing higher rep ranges in just a second. The other 2 exercises that you can do for your short head is either spider curls or concentration curls. Personally, for the short head, I will only really and truly do preacher curls. I don't enjoy doing spider curls or concentration curls. For like spider curls, it takes too long to set up and it's kind of an awkward exercise personally to me. If you enjoy it, you know, do it. And concentration curls, well, I don't know, it just looks like you're doing too much. Okay, now the moment that you've been waiting for, the juicy part of this video, the brachialis. The brachialis is one muscle group that you have to be training. You cannot slack on this muscle group at all. We are going, and I say we because I do this exercise and you're going to do this exercise if you're not already. So we are going to be performing the rope hammer curls. The squeeze that you feel on this exercise, the stretch that you're able to get on your arms is just insane compared to just using some dumbbells. I actually go the extra mile with this one and I'll do about 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps. I do quite high volume with this exercise. I know it's extremely high volume, let's get into that. Now, the reason that I choose to do higher volumes for my biceps and in fact to all of my isolation exercise is for many reasons. Number one, I'm not trying to get injured. I really am not trying to get injured. When you're doing compound exercises for a bench press, for example, you have multiple muscle groups involved, so the risk of injury is much lower doing a low rep range for compounds rather than doing a low rep range for your isolation exercises, because there's only so much weight and so much amount of low reps that a small muscle group can handle. Especially for the first 2 years of lifting, I wouldn't recommend that you use a low rep range when you're doing your isolation exercises. I've been training for about 2.5 years now, so sometimes I will implement lower rep ranges, heavier weights for my shoulders, for my triceps, for my biceps. But as a beginner, just focus on doing volume for your arms and they will grow, trust me. Secondly, I feel way more of a mind to muscle connection with my biceps when I go to the higher rep range. I feel like when you do a higher rep range, you can really feel the connection between the movement that you're doing and your bicep, especially if you're getting a good squeeze at the top of every rep, which will be kind of hard to do if you're doing a very low rep range. And the last reason is I just find higher volume for smaller muscle groups way more fun. I mean, come on. Imagine you're doing bicep curls for 6 reps. Really? You're gonna stand up and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. That's it. I don't find that enjoyable at all. It just makes the session kind of boring. I want to do 12 reps. I want to do drop sets. I want to do pause sets, pyramid sets, you know? At the end of the day, we want to be having fun in the gym. It's not just purely about muscle growth. So even if there were similar benefits to training your biceps and your smaller muscle groups in a lower rep range, I'm still going to opt in for the higher volume, for the higher rep range, no matter what. And also guys, if you have any questions regarding growing your biceps or anything to do with fitness or health, make sure you drop a comment down below and I'll be sure to read that comment and I'll try and make a video on it. That's pretty much everything you need to know to grow your biceps, guys. Of course, alongside with training to failure, good diet, good sleep, good recovery, progressively overloading, you know the drill. If you're interested in doing one-to-one coaching with me, where I will help you build muscle, lose fat, and increase your testosterone in 90 days or less, then book a call with me down in the description below and we can have a quick chat. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something new in this video, please drop a like, drop a subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. My free newsletter and workout programs are in the description. I will see you guys in the next video.